Dear students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I will teach you in this course what is data and its type. Data is a plural name of a word datum. After that, I will teach you the types in which we will discuss quantitative data type and qualitative data type. Quantitative data type in which we discuss continuous variable and discrete variables, and in qualitative data type we will discuss attributes, nominal and ordinal scale. After that, I will tell you what is variable. There are two types of variable, discrete and continuous variable. Also, we will discuss dependent and independent variables. So, we cover in this module all the things that is required for a person to collect data. That is basically depend upon that what type of characteristics you need. We use different techniques here to collect these data. Data is a plural form of the word datum. Data is considered as a collection of items either in quantitative or in qualitative form, as it consists of full information regarding the objective. It consists of relevant information about the objective, and it is analyzed further to extract that information. In different sectors, it is possible that one does not have direct approach to the object due to time and money. For example, for the study of an environment affecting factors, one requires large instruments and manpower to collect values, but there are other departments like meteorological sciences, remote sciences that also deal with the same object. The source that one has used to collect the data that is available from other departments in a published form, such type of source is called secondary source. If one has direct approach to the source and information is collected directly from the original source, it is called primary source. For example, let us suppose if you want to conduct a survey regarding the height of a student in a class of a college, then if you personally collect all the data, then it is called primary source. Let us suppose college administration already collect all the information regarding the features, biological details of the students in written form. Then if you get that information from the administration, then it is called secondary source. Hence, data are collected from two sources, one is primary source and second one is secondary source. The information is further used for analysis purpose. It solely depends on the characteristics of an item, that it can be observed either in quantitative form or in qualitative form. For example, height, weight and age of a person are quantified in numbers. This is an example of quantitative form, and the variables used to quantify values are called quantitative variables. Some characteristics like religion of a person, designation and severity of a disease, genders, etc. are difficult to calculate in terms of numbers, but one can assign numbers to them for recording purpose and hence know meaning in terms of value. For example, for noting down sex of a person, one can use 1 for male and 2 for female in a government survey. Now here in the graph we can see data is further bifurcated into two segments. One is qualitative data and other one is quantitative data. That has further branches, that is attributes, nominal and ordinal for qualitative data, and for quantitative data we have continuous data and discrete data. In qualitative data, as qualitative data deals with information about the characteristics or qualities of an object under study that cannot be measured, for example color of skin, shape and color of eyes, etc. Qualitative data are further divided into following types. These are attributes, nominal, ordinal. Attributes are considered as a type of qualitative data that have only two categories. For example, male or female, yes or no, dead or alive. It is called attribute data because of two categories. One can say whether an item has presence of attributes or not. For example, in a study of census, there are many items like male, female, employed, unemployed, educated or illiterate, etc. are considered as attributes. Nominal data are considered as that form of data that cannot be ordered or have more than two categories. For example, color of hair, either it can be black, brown, blonde, etc. Marital status, married, unmarried, divorced, separated. Similarly for nature of disaster, fire, theft, accident, earthquake, etc. In these examples, one can observe that there are more than two categories, as well as these categories are unordered. It means that one cannot compare black color with brown color and comment about it. But now come to ordinal. Ordinal data consists of observation that can be ordered in terms of their characteristics. For example, tidiness among students have categories as messy, fairly, tidy or very neat. Build of body has categories like fat, medium sized or thin. Agreements has categories like strongly agree, disagree, neither agree or agree. One can order observations based on these categories in terms of high or low level of cleanliness, and also responses on body types and agreement can also be ordered based on categories available. Now come to quantitative data. Quantitative data consists of numbers. For example, either it can be 1, 0.8, -3 or rational number, or quantities like 1.2 kg, 155 centimeter and so on related with objects. Quantitative data are further segmented into two types. These types are discrete quantitative data and continuous quantitative data. Discrete quantitative data are that form of data that can only take particular numbers like whole numbers. For example, in a study of cancer patients, number of patients are calculated in whole number, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and so on. You can't assign or choose 0.5 or -1 value because patients are considered only as a whole number. What is whole number? Whole number are those numbers that start from 0 and goes till infinity. Now continuous quantitative data. Continuous quantitative data that can take all values, either it is whole number or real number. it can consider negative values also. For example, temperature of a room can be negative, positive or 0. Also, time duration of happening of an event like earthquake duration is considered in minutes and seconds. For example, 5.5 minutes, 2 minutes, etc. Continuous quantitative data are basically derived from measuring like height, that is evaluated in centimeter, time, that can be evaluated in seconds, minutes, hours, etc. Now here we are comparing quantitative data and qualitative data. In qualitative data, it helps to gain an understanding of the features of the data, and in quantitative data it helps to quantify data and generalize results from the data of interest. Now, second point of qualitative data is it helps to provide insight of the problem, generating idea for further research. On the other hand, in quantitative data, it measures the incident related with various views and opinions. And now the next point of qualitative data is to provide view about the problem where complete enumeration based on numbers are not possible. But in quantitative data, sometime followed by qualitative research that is used for further use. Now one can observe that both these methods are also complementary to one another, as it represents results statement about all the attributes and variables available in the data collectively. For example, in a questionnaire of a monetary loss of earthquake in a particular sector, one can conclude on the basis of data that X amount of persons, either it can be male or female of Y age, are affected with monetary loss of Z amount on average. So now we are going to tell you what is variable. Variable is another commonly used word when collecting information from the observation. Before looking at the definition, let's first understand it through an example. Also, basically data are realization of the variable. For example, in a study of measuring average height of student, then height is considered as a variable, as height of each student is different and it can take any value within a specified range. Other objective whose value vary under different conditions are measured through variable. Definition: a variable is defined as a measurement tool that fluctuates its value with change in the condition of an objective. In quantitative data form, observations are of discrete and continuous data form. Hence, there must be two variables. These are discrete variables and other one is continuous variable. Discrete variable that can only take on a finite number of values is termed as discrete variables. This value vary from one observation to the other. For example, number of boys in a class, number of patients in a hospital, number of accidents occurred in a year, and number of states in a country. Now come to the continuous variable. A variable is a tool that keeps on changing value. This value can vary from one observation to the other. A continuous variable is a variable that takes any value possible for observation on the real line. It means all possible positive, negative and fraction values you can take in a continuous variable, as there are uncountable values that exist between two numbers like 1 and 2. For example, 1.00 is also a possibility, 1.01 is also a possibility for a continuous variable, and 1.001 and so on. For example, time taken by a person to complete a task. Now, as we can see, we consider time in seconds also, in minutes also, in hours also. So it is considered in fractions also. If we want to calculate that how much time a person will take or how much time a person took to complete a task, it will be considered in a continuous variable. Now similarly, height of a person and wind speed can also be considered in as a continuous variable. Variables are further categorized into further two types. One is independent variable and dependent variable. What is independent variable and dependent variable? Now in general term, or you can say simplest example of independent dependence is when the value of one variable depends on the value of other variable, then it is called dependent variable. When the value of one variable is independent from the value of other variables, then it is called independent variable. What in the proper form of dependent variable is, a variable is said to be independent variable if there is a little change in its value, then the value of other variable also change, but the value of other variable change, then there is no change in the value of this variable. Hence, that variable whose values is not affected by any other variable is called an independent variable. For example, agar density is a variable and its value determines the quantity of chlorophyll A that is used as an indicator of lake water quality. You can consider another example like the height of a person is independent from the weight of a person. Some of the person has more height and less weight, and some of them are more healthy, or you can say they have more weight but they have less height. Dependent variable. A variable is said to be dependent variable if its value change due to change in other variable. The variable that influence the values of this dependent variable is called independent variable. For example, there are quantities like agar density, poor water quality, and chlorophyll 2 that is used as an indicator of lake water quality. Now, chlorophyll 2 values are basically depend on the values of agar density and also on the quality of lake water. So basically chlorophyll 2 is dependent variable and other are independent variable. Now we are going to conclude that what is data. As we discussed that data is a collection of objects and we can categorize data into two forms, either qualitative data and quantitative data. Quantitative data we further discussed that it has further branches like nominal, ordinal and scale, and in quantitative data that we have continuous data types and discrete data types. So after that we also discussed what is variable and its type, that is discrete variable and continuous variable. We also discussed dependent variable and independent variable. So thank you students.